All right, now this is on the topic of circles. So I'm just going to start right from scratch of the basic concepts to remember, okay? So instead of thinking about all the very complex questions, make sure you are very clear about the basic concepts of circles. So we're going to start off first with the idea of circumference. So basically circumference actually refers to the perimeter of a circle. And when we're talking about perimeter, we're talking about the outline. So here, the outline of a circle is this line I'm talking about. And remember, Miss Lim showed you at the start of the lesson that when I actually break up this line, I can open it up to become one straight line actually. So if I do cut the circle here, it can actually form a one straight line. So that's the meaning of a perimeter. It's just the line, the length actually. Okay, I can actually cut open this to become like that, a straight line. All right, so to find the circumference of a circle, C is equals to pi times D. Okay, the reason why is it pi times D, if you remember, is because the circumference of the circle is actually made up of 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and a bit more of the diameter. Okay, that's why it is pi times D. So an easy way to remember this is chocolate pie is delicious. All right, now next. If I'm using to find the semicircle, I don't use the word circumference anymore. I use perimeter of a semicircle. Okay, so for a semicircle is half of a full circle. Half only. There's only half of it. Okay, so I know a semicircle is half a circle. So to find the pink one, it's half pi d. Don't forget your half, it's very important. Okay, and then don't forget, after I'm done with drawing, after I'm done finding this line, this orange line is also part of the perimeter of a semicircle. So it's half times pi times d plus this is a diameter, so you must plus a d as well. Okay, if I'm finding a perimeter of a simple semicircle like this. All right, next, the perimeter of a quadrant. So this pink line that I shaded out here, highlighted out for you, is actually the quadrant curve side. So we know a quadrant is 1/4 of a full circle. So the pink line here is actually 1/4 pi d. Okay, but don't forget that these two lines here is also part of the outline of the quadrant, the perimeter of a quadrant. So these two orange eye is actually the radius. So 2 radius actually give me 1 diameter. So I'll just add in the diameter as well. So to find the perimeter of a quadrant is 1/4 pi d plus your diameter. Okay, don't forget that, yeah? Now next, for the area of a circle, for area, you're actually finding the amount of space inside the circle, okay? So the formula for area of circle is actually pi times radius times radius. All right, for semicircle, we know semicircle, this is what I'm looking for. This, I know a semicircle is half a circle, so half times pi times radius times radius. Don't forget your half. And then for the area of a quadrant, I'm looking for the amount of space inside here. So quadrant is 1/4 of a circle, so it's 1/4 times pi times radius times radius. Okay, so this is the overview of everything. Don't confuse the perimeter, circumference with the area. And don't forget, if I'm looking for a semicircle and quadrant one, I must add in my half and my 1/4 respectively. Okay, so this is the very basic thing. And then I know some of you were confused about the other questions, so I'm just going to run through the basic ones also. Now, a circle is always encompassed by a square. Why? Because this is diameter and this is diameter. So we know diameter, these are the same. So this is a square. Okay, so if today I want to find this part here, the corner, the up here, what I can do is I can split up my circle into 4 small squares, 4 quadrants, and then I can just take my square, minus the quadrant, I'll get this up here. Okay, this up here, and I can times 4 to find 4 of it. Or simply, I can take the square minus the circle, I'll get the 4 corners already. All right. Then the next one, which I've shown inside your math notebook, is to find this shaded lip here. To find the shaded lip, it's your quadrant minus the triangle. Okay. In scenarios where I want 2 of it, that means if there are 2 lips like this, okay, it will be your quadrant minus triangle. You get 1 already, then you times 2. All right. Now, this was the earlier one that I was talking about. So to get this up here, it's your square minus your quadrant, you'll get the up. Okay, quite straightforward, yeah? All right, next, I'm going to look at the different pies in the question. So don't forget pi, you have 22 out of 7, 3.14, calculator pi, and live in terms of pi. Now, just remember, if they ask you to live in terms of pi, and you have something like this in your final step, 12 pi plus 28, this would be your final answer. That means what you will see in your final answer is this 12 pi plus 28 bracket cm. Don't go and add them together. That's it already. You can't add them together because this has pi. All right. Now, next, if you're using calculator pi in paper 2, what I need you to do is do not, get the answer and round off at the beginning. So for example, my first step is maybe 1/4 times pi times, let's say 12 times 12, for example. So what you do at this stage is don't multiply the pi first into calculator. So what you do is can cancel. So you'll be left with pi times 3 times 12. You leave it as 36 pi first. Leave it as this first. Until towards the end, then you put them together and calculate at the last step. So you don't get the wrong answer. Okay, so that is for the pi. Now, apart from the things I mentioned earlier, do go through the ones in your workbook and whole the questions, and review them. Some of the more challenging ones. In circles parameter, please use highlighter to trace out the outline. So for example, there was one inside your mid-year exam paper, the practice paper. I think it was this. Okay, and this was the shaded part. They don't want the area because area is very easy to see. They want the parameter of the shaded part. So you need to see it with the highlighter. The parameter is the outline of the shaded part. The shaded part outlines this line plus this orange line and this orange line. So you must highlight the lines to see the parameter. All right, so that's it for circles. Next, I'm going to move on to area of triangle, which is just a quick one because you have done this in P5. I'm going to recall with you. Now, the first thing about area of triangle is if it's area, the unit is cm square or, square meter or square centimeter. Sometimes they might even tell you square units. Okay, units just referring to either cm or meter. All right. Now, first thing I know is the area of a triangle is half of its related rectangle. Okay, related rectangle means they share the same base and height as the two sides of the rectangle. Meaning, if this is my rectangle, then half the rectangle will be this because this will be the triangle, and because they share the same base and height as the length and breadth of the rectangle. Okay. Now next, base and height must be perpendicular. So if you have forgotten what is perpendicular, perpendicular means the two lines form a right angle. Okay. Don't confuse these perpendicular lines with your parallel lines. Parallel lines is this. They will never meet. All right. So for this base and height, any three sides of a triangle can be the base, but my height will change accordingly. So if you look at this first example, this is a right angled triangle. Very straightforward. I can use this as my base and height, or either way. Okay. Now, can I choose can I use this line as the base? Can. If I turn it around, can I use this as a base? Can. If this is my base, then now my highest point will be here from the base, and my height would be perpendicular to this base. So this will become my height. Okay, so this is an example. All right, I'm just going to use this one. This is an acute angled triangle. If this is my base, my highest point is here. Then I'll slide along the base until I hit the highest point. It is a right angle here. I will draw down this line. This would be my height. Okay. And the last but not the least, this is the slanted triangle. So my base, it is my base. The highest point is this now. So my height must meet this highest point. It is not this line because this line is slanted. Remember I told you it must be perpendicular. So we can extend the base a little for us to slide our ruler on it to get to the right angle. So I'm just like this until my ruler hits the highest point of the triangle from here. And then I'm going to draw this line down. This will be the height because the right angle is here. So this will be the height of the triangle. Okay, simple. So simply to find the area of a triangle is your half times base times height. Okay, if I'm given a rectangle and I draw a triangle like this inside here, as long as the base and the height, they are the same, I know this triangle is half of the rectangle, which in the other way, I can also say that these two unshaded parts to add together is also half of the rectangle as well. Okay, so you must understand this concept. Last but not the least would be the drawing of the triangle. So for example, they ask you to draw a triangle of area 4 square centimeter. Now you cannot use this directly and tell me, oh, I can do 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Why? I give an example. If I'm going to do 1 and 4, you realize that half times 1 times 4 doesn't give you 4 square centimeter. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to know that this base and height, these two sides, is actually the two sides of the rectangle. So what I need to do now is to find the area of the rectangle first by taking the area of triangle times 2. So I get 8 square centimeter. Then after that, I'll find the different factors of the 8 square centimeter. So 8 is made of 1 times 8 and 2 times 4. So I can either choose 1 and 8 or 2 and 4 as the base and height of the triangle. All right. So that's it for the area of triangle. So just take note of this. Okay.